no PowerPoint. I like to really see you and interact with you. Really, I'm here for you. If I were someplace for me, I'd be in my garden right now, because in Maine we have a very short growing season and I have to get my beans in. But I'm here for you. And I'm here to encourage you to work with the spirit helpers around you. That's really my thing. And that includes not only your life guide, which I'll talk about, but also the elementals. And particularly the fairies and elves are the ones who are in your garden with you. So those are the ones I focus on. All right, so I'm going to start with the Dawn book, which is the middle one, but it was the one first written. In 1989, I had a really bad year. I was fired. I'm a radio person. I've done radio for many years, and not a real stable profession, and also really not great for women. And I had also had a bad back injury, so I was pretty down. And I was remembering my father, who had a pension, when he retired, and that was never going to happen for me. And I thought, there's no security in this world. I was living in a pre-Civil War house without running water. I had a hand pump, so I had to pump the water and then bring it over to the wood stove to heat it up to do the dishes. And with a back injury, that's not easy. So I was doing that. I was doing the dishes, something so simple, something many of us do every day. And my guide, who is on stage with me, those of you who can see, Darcy Stillwater, he's quite tall, he started talking to me. Now, I knew it wasn't me, my own thoughts, because for one thing, it's a male voice and he's British. So I heard his accent, and he said, you never listen to classical music. You listen to rock and roll all the time. Why don't you listen to some classical music? Right. So I went, okay. Now that's just pushed me over the edge. I'm sure that I've really lost it now, but he was very patient, and you remember, 89, it was vinyl, right? It was vinyl. I walked in, and being in radio for all those years, I had a wall of vinyl, and I didn't even look. I just walked over, and he put my hand on the one Beethoven record I had. He's saying to me, I'd rather hear Bach, but all you have is Beethoven, so let's listen to the Beethoven. So we did. And from then on, we had this conversation. And so the first thing that happened to me is I heard him, but that has grown, and now he can show me, I see pictures and the whole deal. Telepathy basically is reading energy. And clairaudience, I think, is the most useful, especially with your guide, because you can actually hear specific directions. So I teach that, and I do have a class Tuesday morning. Any of you who want to join me, and we'll go into depth on all of this. So Christmas 1989, if anyone remembers, was a sad day because that was the big uprising in Romania, and they killed the king and his family, and I was very sad, and I cried a lot because I said, this is Christmas Day, and I said, when is the world going to stop being so violent? So I had a good cry, and then I went out for a walk, and Darcy's telling me, listen, I've got to introduce you to someone. Sure, why not? And here comes a master guide. And I was a little bit in awe, and I could tell it wasn't Darcy. First of all, it was when you're communicating with the higher realms, the angelic realms, and the master guides and stuff. They have kind of a timbre or a ringing to their words. And he said to me, the first thing the master guide said was, everything's going to change, and you're going to see it change. Would you like to be a leader in the new time? And I went, what does that entail? Are we talking Joan of Arc or what here? So they said, no, we just want you to write a book. Okay, I can do that. So that was the Dawn book. So all of 1990, I got up at dawn every morning, one of the reasons it's called that, and I just wrote what Darcy told me. Darcy and I work that way. I call it telepathic communication and telepathic writing. It's not automatic writing because I hear him and he tells me and I write it down and I go, you sure you don't want to rephrase that? It'll be better English if we did it, But he tells me and I write it. That's how all the books were done. Now the Dawn book, the information was prepared by the master guides. Darcy studied with them and then he passed the information on to me. Now, what's so wonderful about the Dawn book, if you haven't seen it yet, is that it's very simple to understand. Very simple. It's not like, I started on Alice Bailey in the Tibetan, and you have to read the same page, for 3 days to try to even get anything. But this is very easy. And one of the things that really, some of the things I knew in there already, like the chakras and so on, but they have this gift to all of us on how to transform our emotions. Say you're really, really angry. There's an exercise in there, a visualization in there, where you can take all it. First of all, they told me Emotions are valuable. They're valuable. People say, I don't want to feel that, but it's valuable. So you take the emotion and you picture it as something, and then it gives you directions on how to transform it into love and compassion. And then you can take some for yourself or send it wherever it needs to go. But you can take that emotion and change it. And according to the information, they didn't really want to give this to humans because they were afraid they would use it the other way. And so it's a responsibility to use all this new information in the Dawn Book correctly. It's like the Bible for our times. I mean, I'm not saying it's like the Bible, but it's like an update of information and useful things for now. There's a whole section on enlightenment. If you want to go that route, step by step.